Maybe that is what has driven the bull run in metals, because gold and silver are a lot of circuits use gold, real gold. So I think that's a big part of the gold and silver rally. In a previous life, when I was at Proven, we actually did an article on investing in metals. At the time, it seemed very esoteric, like, okay, guys, you guys are just nerdy now. But the metals run has outperformed most asset classes this year. It may or may not continue into next year. I suspect it will, because I think it's underpinned by the need for conductors and materials that can conduct electricity. We didn't even talk about EVs and EV technology and
lithium and batteries
alternate
and
energy.
solar.
All those things need gold and silver.
Silver, lithium, yeah.
And then even in
those
healthcare,
metals.
a lot of medical equipment is made out of silver. Dental equipment made out of silver. Surgical equipment, and not just the machines, but we're talking about the instruments that they use to operate. A lot of those things are made out of fine metals, because when you sterilize them, they have a greater effect than some other materials. There's wide use case application for these metals, and that's what has driven the bull case. They're not great for income unless you're just gonna trade the spread, but they can be a portfolio diversifier if you're looking for some cap gain from different areas. If you're sitting in assets that are richly overvalued. So for example, an investor who might have been in NVIDIA for 2 or 3 years, they might want to take some gains and go into some ETFs that hold silver or gold, or they do like a pairing where you take a dual exposure. Instead of leaning into one metal, you can buy like a metal basket, or you do two sides of the same trade, where you're taking a bullish bet on both sides, but you're doing it through two different instruments or two different sets of instruments. So you do two metals instead of one.
I'm literally looking at the charts. I don't know if you guys can see, but this is like silver's chart. You know, it's mooned. It's skyrocketed in the past. This is from October. October it was like $46, and now it's
How far
December.
back? Can you go back?
It's 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do the 3-month chart.
If you were to do a moving, yeah. If you were
all time high.
Yeah, if you were to do a moving average study, it would be
platinum.
It would be overbought significantly. And you were to layer that over like a relative strength index, you'd say momentum that suggests that there's going to be a very strong correction soon, which may be the case. But I don't think the bull case for metals is over, because what we didn't speak about is the fact that that Cold War II, I should say, involves a different allocation of fiscal resources. So what you find is that if you're going to break away from the traditional model of globalization, right? I get into the dollar. What it means is that you're going to have to borrow a lot more to fund all of these capital projects that we're talking about, because the money has to come from somewhere. And it's not as though the US economy is growing by 10, 15, 12%. It's growing by 2 or 3% per year. So you have to borrow to fund all that capex. What that means is that the US economy is going to become more leveraged. And as it becomes more leveraged, it puts more fiscal strain on how the country manages its budget. And as a result, the dollar will be held hostage. So what that means is that the US dollar is likely to lose its value faster against other currency pairs for the next couple of years. So inflation is likely to average high 2 or low 3 for the next couple of years from a US dollar standpoint. And as a result, investors will try to hedge in metals. So that's the whole point I was talking about, the change in regime and why the US is going in a different area. It's not as though we're trying to be revisionist historians, but we're looking at the investment thesis from a top down, so we're not taken by surprise. We know how to invest. You have to invest around these things.